there, magical people. It is gorgeous out here on the farm. My last video, a lot of you had said, hey, I'm interested in spellcraft, how you craft your spells. So I'm getting ready to go to Wales. As a matter of fact, when this posts, I will be on my way to Wales for a mystical sites tour. I'm so excited about this. And I was prepping for my journey. And of course, I have a flair for the dramatic. So I've crafted all sorts of magical items for this, and I recorded it. And I thought I would show you the magical things that I crafted and my thought process and the different spellcraft elements that I chose to implement along the way. And hopefully it will inspire you to use these on your everyday items in your house. Enchanting everyday items is something that I love to do. I feel like it is so easy for us to be a part of and just helps to pump up the magic in our life. Just a reminder that these spells that I created to enchant these everyday objects are in no way formulas. I want to encourage you to focus on the process and not the products that I'm making, because you might not want to make these things. Instead, just focus on the process. And if something fits for you, then pick it up. If it doesn't, toss it. There are no rules. This is your natural magic. This video is intended to inspire you to be able to enchant your own everyday objects and bring more magic into your life. Traditionally, a talisman is used to attract energy and an amulet is used to repel it. I do like a good talisman. How about you? Who's made one out there? The idea is that like attracts like. So you charge an object with the energy that you want to attract. And that could be like a full moon, so you charge it with that full moon energy. It could be like an eclipse, an event, a trip, a sacred place, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to attract more of to you, you charge that object with it. This was given to me by a fellow initiate of the Anglesey Druid Order, and I wanted to make it into something special. So I decided that I wanted to position this up by my throat so that it was seen and out, facing out into the world at all times. I made it extremely simple. The only knots that I put in it are the clasp. You can do a lot of knot magic when doing something like this, but for the moment, I wanted to leave it open to add to. I'm actually hoping on my trip that I will find some beads or something special to add to the necklace. I won't be putting it on until I arrive for my trip. The purpose is to charge it with the energy of my trip and the land of Wales and all of the sacred sites that are there. Usually a talisman will have some kind of sacred symbol on it or sigil. This one is sacred to our order. Next, I created a protective case, that little bag there, that acts as a protective shield for my talisman to travel in when I'm not wearing it, to keep the energy neutral or to keep it from absorbing energies that I don't like. Like even if I'm going into like a bad space, I can take it off and put it in this case to keep it protected. You can see that I cleared the energy of the bag using a smudge stick that I had made back on Lunisod. And that's just herbs from my garden. It has particular meaning to me, and because it was made with the height energy of the sun and harvest, I love the power of that. I added rose petals, and I chose rose because rose symbolizes love. The protection of love is really powerful, but it also is linked to my mother, and she was an incredibly strong woman. That has personal significance to me. You know, pick something that's significant to you. Then I added some salt for protection, which is a good old-fashioned salt, right? You could use black salt if you wanted, or you could use whatever is right for you. You drawing on things that are powerful for you and attaching your mind to it. As above, so below. So don't be afraid to just experiment. As time goes by, I've changed some of the things that I use and don't use. There's really no right or wrong way. There's just your natural way. I also want to thank Kara over at Pagan Crafting, who inspired me to make magical items for my trip, and I will link her video down below in the description box. Also down there, you'll find my newsletter if you're interested in signing up. Oh, I'm being attacked by chickens. Wow, okay. That's Emily. Never a dull moment on the farm. So the next spell that I did was the biggest spell, and I actually crafted 3 things using this same spell. This has the most elements to it, and I hope that this will really inspire you. Again, don't get caught up in what I made, but just pay attention to kind of how I chose to craft the spell and how I chose the elements, and just, I hope that this will really inspire you to get creative, and I'm really just gonna let you in on my thinking process. I had to make some clothing because I just have these dramatic ideas of myself out on the moors. I made 3 articles of clothing. I think they turned out amazing and I absolutely love them, and I enchanted the heck out of them. So check it out. Here's my process, and here's all the different ways that I wove different aspects of spellcrafting into this. The first thing I did was sit down to write an incantation that I wanted to be able to chant over the clothing to enchant it. The first thing I did was get really clear on what I wanted this clothing to do for me on this trip, and once I could feel that, I wrote down the key words that went with that and eliminated the ones that didn't fit and sat down to write my incantation. And I like rhyming incantations. This one took me a little bit longer than it normally does, but I wanted it to be really just right. I know that for many of you, rhyming isn't your thing, not necessary at all. Next, I went through Naomi Cornock's Old Ways Magic Oracle to pick out the ideas I might have for an energy that could sit with me while I sewed, and I narrowed it down over quite a bit of time. I finally got to the point where I could narrow it down to just 2, play and Ellen of the Ways. A playful spirit is a learning spirit. And I have a personal connection with Ellen of the Ways already. And of course, her history and her story is over there as well. So I thought she could guide me. And you'll see here in a moment how I use that. Of course, I had my faithful companion with me all the time. That's Namir, always here for a little bit of emotional support and willing to get a pet. As I ironed, I envisioned the trip going smoothly, maybe not too smooth. I chose a fabric that really looks good wrinkled because I'm that kind of gal. So not all the wrinkles out, because a little bit of wrinkles brings a little bit of adventure. Well, I lost the footage for this, but I did put on incense in the room, and then I chose an oil that I anointed my scissors with. You could craft an oil, you could craft your own incense. You know, this is not ceremonial magic, it's sympathetic magic. I chose an oil based solely on the scent. I wanted something that made me feel alive and fresh and just like I wanted to be out loud with ease. And so that's how I chose the oil and the scent of the oil. Again, sky's the limit. Whatever your personal associations are, those are the ones that you want to go for. You want to do it the way that works right for you, that brings the most meaning. As I pinned my pattern, I thought about making those points of contact that I was supposed to, whether it's with myself or someone else or an experience, or maybe it's just the connections that I make on my flights, but really making those points of contact. As I made those cuts, I really was thinking about letting go. Like letting go of what's extra, what doesn't need to be there, what doesn't fit with my vision for myself and my future, because this trip is really about that for me. It's really about being myself. I taped my incantation to my machine, and then I placed Ellen of the Ways and play beneath my machine, so its energy was always there with me. What followed was lots of sewing and chanting. Believe me, that incantation got woven into all those stitches. Spell number 4, as I oiled my shoes, I asked the goddess to guide my steps. And I think this is a great bit of sympathetic magic that you can do on any pair of shoes. You can even consecrate shoes, like a special pair of high heels for certain occasions or boots. Sky's the limit, but this one was just a really simple and quick spell. If you made it this far, do me a favor and leave me some stars down below and tell me what you think of this video. I hope that you're inspired by this to really make your spell crafting your own and dive deep into what's meaningful to you and weave that into what you do magically. Next time, I'm going to be talking about magical books, fiction and nonfiction, to inspire your magical practice. Things that will really help you to think about spellcrafting in a new way, and maybe just help you to re-envision who you are as a magical practitioner. And check out my community tab in the next couple weeks, because I will be sharing all sorts of pictures from my trip to Wales. And in June, I'm sure to put together some kind of video regarding that trip and just the beauty and the magic of it.